Good evening, televiewers, and thanks for joining us on today's edition of the English newscast on Info Television. Our headlines. National dignitaries have shook hands with President Paul Biya this January 8, 2026 during the New Year wishes ceremony at the Presidency of the Republic. And tomorrow, January 9, 2026 at 8 p.m. prompt, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon will face the host nation, Morocco's Atlas Lions, in the ongoing AFCON quarterfinals. Those were our top stories. All of these shall be yours in a jiffy. Welcome back. As you heard in one of our lead stories, President Paul Biya this January 8, 2026 received New Year wishes from members of the diplomatic corps at the Unity Palace in Yaoundé. The envoys congratulated him on his re-election and reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening cooperation with Cameroon amid growing global security threats. Phillips NG expands.
In a grand and cordial atmosphere on January 8, 2026 at the Unity Palace in Yaoundé, members of the diplomatic corps presented New Year wishes to the head of state, President Paul Biya, led by the Dean of the diplomatic corps, who also serves as Equatorial Guinea's ambassador to Cameroon, Armando Conte Echuaka. The diplomatic community congratulated President Paul Biya on his re-election in the October 12 presidential election. The corps reiterates its continued support as the president begins a new 7-year term in office. The Dean highlighted the diplomatic community's commitment to strengthen cooperation ties with Yaoundé. Responding after the address by the Dean of the diplomatic corps, President Paul Biya warmly expressed his appreciation for the goodwill and messages. He called on diplomats to uphold peace, respect the territorial integrity of states, and promote mutual understanding. Against the backdrop of growing global security threats, the head of state urges envoys to respect international law and actively promote regional integration. The ceremony concluded with a traditional exchange of handshakes, beginning with the Dean of the diplomatic corps and ambassador of Equatorial Guinea to Cameroon, Armando Conte Echuaka. He was followed by the ambassador of the Sovereign Order of Malta to Cameroon, Jean-Christophe. He had checked the Apostolic Nuncio to Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, the United States Ambassador to Cameroon, Christopher John Lamora, and other diplomatic representatives. Expressing satisfaction with the ceremony, the diplomatic corps is expecting to be part of the same ceremony come 2027.
As Cameroon gears up for the upcoming municipal and legislative elections, a striking calm atmosphere with near-empty offices raises concern. Jessica Ndiwum visited some Elekam branches in the city of Yaoundé and now reports.
At the Elekam Municipal Office in Yaoundé 3, located in the Efola neighborhood, the atmosphere is usually calm. Despite the announcement of the upcoming municipal and legislative elections, the premises remain largely empty, giving the impression of an ordinary working day rather than a pre-election period. Although Cameroonians are expected to head to the polls in the coming months to elect their local and national representatives, there is little sign of enthusiasm at this branch. According to internal sources, since the beginning of 2026, only 9 new voter registrations have been recorded, a figure that has surprised many observers. Elekam staff, speaking off camera, however, notes that some citizens have been requesting registration certificates, suggesting a certain level of interest in the electoral process. Nonetheless, the Yaoundé 3 municipal office appears to be in a state of lethargy, seemingly waiting for citizens to fully mobilize. The situation is similar at the Elekam branch in Yaoundé 6. With the gate closed, staff are seen waiting inactive, as hours pass without a single citizen showing up to make inquiries, register, or update their information on the electoral roll. This visible lack of mobilization stands in sharp contrast to the significance of the upcoming municipal and legislative elections, raising questions about voter awareness, engagement, and the level of sensitization ahead of this major democratic exercise.
Decentralized territorial collectives in Cameroon are facing a budget contraction for the 2026 fiscal year. Several councils are forced to revise their budgets downwards, and the decrease in state transfers is impacting local projects. More highlights in this report. Budget cuts have been announced for several councils for the 2026 fiscal year. Significantly, revision has been made compared to 2025, which confirms a contraction in the budget of decentralized territorial collectives in Cameroon. Consequently, decentralization is seen as a concept.
Nous avons accueilli avec beaucoup d'enthousiasme le programme de décentralisation.
We receive with a lot of enthusiasm the decentralization program. But what I can say is that, unfortunately, decentralization remains a concept which is not yet appreciated by everyone. So if the head of state wants councils to be autonomous, should the budget, which should normally be ours, be controlled by the central organ?
Les moyens qui sont supposés être le nôtre sont toujours contrôlés par l'organe central.
As the budget remains operational to finance projects during the 2026 fiscal year, it is also considered as a response to the country's economic situation.
The reduction of the council budget is a response to the present macroeconomic context of our country. You know that regional and local authorities function within the national fiscal context. And since 2024, there has been a law promulgated on the new financial local finance regime.
However, projects can still be realized after the reduced budget by some councils.
Yes, the projects are realizable, because when we elaborate on the budget, we are looking at 3 years behind. And when we take our projections from 3 years behind, we realize that there are certain things we can still achieve, given that the budget has been reduced. And some of those things range from the social domain.
This budget adjustment is part of structural reforms and financial amelioration in Cameroon. And away from that, trust crisis is deeply affecting the society today, as observers, psychologists and sociologists, and equally citizens denounce the erosion of moral and ethical values. This has become a major factor and a societal crisis affecting the society as a whole. Mimi Tiobo throws more light.
Doubt and suspicion marks human relationship today. For some, it is difficult to take others at their words or accept their statement at the face of value. In Cameroon, this phenomenon has reached its peak, manifesting in multiple forms and sparing no sectors of life.
Nous observons que nous sommes dans une société dans laquelle justement
we observe that we are in a society where morality has simply gone out the window and it's declining. We are heading towards a kind of obstruction of public morality, which marks the trust crisis. Once the social pathology becomes the norms, everyone lives with it, everyone accepts it, and ultimately, as we've said, from the first instance of socialization, which is a family, there is a crisis of trust in school, in workplace, so it spares no sector of national life.
secteur justement de la vie nationale.
According to a sociologist, this crisis stemmed from a society where the hierarchy of value has been deeply inverted. It is a context marked by the erosion of constructive value, once the foundation of collective project, now replaced by deviant behaviors.
La crise de confiance est un élément explicatif de la crise.
The trust crisis is a key explanatory factor in the social crisis that is currently plaguing our society. In other words, Cameroon today is a society in crisis, and this crisis is multifaceted, meaning it spares no sector of national life. To put it more bluntly, the trust crisis stems from a society in which the scale of value is underestimated. For citizens interviewed, morality has left society. What was once considered an abnormality is increasingly becoming the norms, turning this social pathology into a normalized reality.
Il y a d'abord la trahison et le mensonge aussi.
What can lead to lack of trust is first of all betrayal and lies, and also the lack of consideration. There is also the fact that you can consider someone a friend, but on their side they don't consider you the same way. And when I say lies, there are certain things you can't tell a friend, but it's obvious that you can tell them everything. Even in a couple, people say you can't tell each other everything, but sometimes you also hide certain things. It should be recalled that the crisis of trust is explained in part by the decline of morality and the weakening of ethics in social life in general. It is the face of a society that seems to be losing its identity under the growing influence of Western society foundations of African social norms. The sociologists conclude.
And the University of Betua has adopted a 7.531 billion CFA francs budget for the 2026 financial year, making a 1.2% increase compared to the year 2025. The decision was taken during the 8th ordinary session of its board of directors held on January 6, 2026. Details with you, Phillips Enchi.
During the 8th ordinary session of the Board of Directors at the University of Betua, held on January 6, 2026, the board adopted a 7,531 billion francs CFA as budget for the 2026 financial year. The budget is expected to boost infrastructural development and improve services delivered across the university campuses. The 2026 budget is voted based on demands of the university so as to proceed with a smooth functioning of activities on campus and also continue with our professional engagement. Compared to the 2025 financial year, the budget recorded a 1.2% increase, described as significant by university authorities. The additional funds are expected to be used to improve the institution's day-to-day operations and expand the infrastructure. Addressing the board members, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Betua highlighted the major infrastructure achievements recorded in 2025. Our library has been digitalized and well equipped. The 2025 financial year permitted us to construct infrastructures hosting offices, amphitheaters at the Higher Institute of Mines and Resources Transformation in Baturi, the construction of a similar infrastructure at the Institute of Agriculture in Yago, and others. This budget is going to help improve and construct ultra-modern buildings in our universities and also improve services rendered on daily basis. The board meeting also provided an opportunity for the validation of the annual performance plan. On this occasion, the president of the board of directors commended the vice-chancellor, Professor Dieudonné Emmanuel Penyim, for what he described as a smooth management and steady progress of the institution. We just migrated from 12,000 to 18,000 students. There are some faculties with enterprises created already, notably the Faculty of Mines in Belabo and the Faculty of Sciences, which is now proud of an enterprise created and producing soft drinks. In its recommendations, the Board of Directors urged that academic research be increasingly aligned with the development challenges of the East region, particularly agriculture and mining. The board further emphasizes the need to strengthen cooperation with local and international partners as a means of accelerating the socio-economic development of the East region.
And on to something else, promotional trade launched by the Ministry of Trade has been ongoing at the 20 May Boulevard in Yaoundé since November 18, 2025. The initiative to combat price speculation has witnessed a positive increase in sales, as you tell us in this report, Mimi Tiobo.
The major promotional sales organized by the Ministry of Trade is ongoing at the 20th May Boulevard in Yaoundé until January 10, 2026. These sales, which were launched on November 18, 2025, to combat price speculation and inflation, especially around the Christmas and New Year festivities.
The special promotional sales are organized in order to concretize the policy of the fight against high prices.
The events, which allow consumers to buy essential goods directly from producers, importers and manufacturers at reduced prices, especially in the central regions, to reduce the cost of living, which has been a great positive impact this season, as the Central Regional Delegate of Trade emphasized.
The Minister of Trade has taken the special measure in order to help those people to have what they need by sending some partner in order to go and supply what they want. So everywhere we have been with our partner in order to satisfy all our consumer of the Central region.
This specific large-scale government-backed sale is a year-end initiative to curb price speculations and provide essential goods such as rice, cooking oil and sugar at reduced prices for the end-of-year festive season.
And in health, taking care of oneself is very essential, especially during this period where Cameroon is facing significant climate change impacts. However, persons are taking up different measures to take care of their health. Their various opinions were gotten on the streets of Yaoundé and compiled in this report.
Self-care during climate change involves a varied approach that combines managing emotional distress, healthcare, adopting personal lifestyle changes to reduce environmental impact. Climate change can cause various health challenges to different persons, reason why individuals take different measures to preserve their health.
Falling sick, I would say I don't get sick often, but in general, cleanliness is important. There is an unclean air, especially during this dry season. Dust is a vector of illness. That's why I think hygiene is essential, first of all.
Pour éviter de tomber malade, je prends beaucoup des écorces.
To avoid getting sick, I take a lot of traditional leaves. I do sports. I don't eat anyhow. And it assures me that even if illness wants to come, it will be impossible.
Others take care of themselves better when stuck with illness.
I go to the hospital when I get sick. I try to get drugs once it is being prescribed, but I also make sure I don't forget our traditional medicine, because I consume them always.
Nevertheless, ensuring adequate sleep, a healthy diet and regular physical activity could equally be fundamental self-care actions.
And in sports, tomorrow, January 9, 2026 at 8 p.m., the indomitable Lions of Cameroon will face the host nation Morocco in the upcoming AFCON quarterfinals. Both teams have met 13 times, with Cameroon maintaining dominance. Cameroon's chances of emerging victorious in this game is analyzed by Phillips Enchi.
In 13 meetings between the two sides, Cameroon has dominated with 7 wins, while Morocco's Atlas Lions have managed 2 victories and 4 draws. One of the most memorable clashes came in 1988 when Cameroon eliminated host Morocco with a 1-0 victory. However, Morocco struck back in 2018 World Cup qualifiers, securing a memorable 2-0 victory over the indomitable Lions. This event set the stage for a thrilling contest, warning both teams of each other's strength. Both sides are blessed with a convincing performance throughout the tournament, remaining unbeaten. Morocco topped Group A with 7 points after a 2-0 win over Comoros, a 1-1 draw with Mali, and a 3-0 victory against Zambia. The Atlas Lions secured 6 goals and conceded just 1 in the group stage. Cameroon also finished in Group F with 7 points, defeating Gabon in a 1-0 victory while maintaining a 1-1 draw against Ivory Coast and coming from behind to beat Mozambique in a 2-1 victory. The indomitable Lions scored 4 goals and conceded 2. The Cameroonian striker Christian Kofan continues to produce jaw-dropping performances, scoring in both the group stage and the round of 16 with South Africa, alongside Junior Chamadu also finding the net in the match. As Cameroon prepares to face Morocco on January 9, 2026, football fans across Africa and around the world are eager for a high-stakes battle. The 5-time AFCON winner will aim to prove their worth against the 2000